Hey, this is Sean, Executive Director from Our Future First. So a lot of people have been asking why exactly we believe we can't trust some of the decision makers in City Hall regarding the appeal of the zoning for Reese's house. So I'm going to take a few minutes to explain really why that is. So back in March of 2023, I spoke with City Solicitor Brock Russell about Rick Abbott's appeal of our zoning, and he told me that the city was working on a plan that would make everyone happy. He said, and I quote, "Is there a way to resolve this? To create a community center someplace that could accommodate you and maybe relieve you of your investment in that building? There might be a way to resolve it in that fashion." Now, obviously, I was skeptical when I heard this. Why would we want to be relieved of our investment in our building that we spent years trying to obtain? And why was that a possible resolution to Abbott's appeal of our zoning? So I also spoke with Commissioner Joe Suey about this possible resolution, and he provided me with a little more insight. So he told me that Mr. Russell came up with an idea to take the old section of the library building away from the library itself, move us to that building, force the library to only have the new addition that they're currently building, and that we could sell our current space. In fact, he specifically said, "Well, I can probably find someone to buy it. There are a couple people that may be interested." He explained that the city owned the old part of the library and that they could do whatever they want with it. He then said that with the new money we received from selling Reese's house, that we could afford to pay a lease, and mentioned us paying the city $1,000 a month multiple times in the conversation. When I brought up our concerns about our plans for Reese's house, the investment and equity that's already in our building, our tenant agreement with Wildflower, and our income stream, there were no answers. So within the next week or two, I received phone calls from two different individuals who wanted to purchase our building. One was Anthony DeSantis, who recently purchased the old Wheaton Factory property on G Street and countless other properties throughout the city. He told me that he wanted to turn our building into an upscale pizza place of some sort, and that I should be happy with whatever amount I can get for it since we're a nonprofit. He really showed me what kind of person he was when he referred to Millville as Shitville. So when I asked him who gave him my personal cell phone number, he couldn't answer the question. Mr. DeSantis called me numerous times and left voicemails, as did his business partner, Mr. Barry Campbell. Now, neither Mr. DeSantis nor Mr. Campbell answered my question as to who gave them my personal number. Shocker. So, knowing all this, let's ask ourselves some serious questions. Why is the solution to an appeal that is challenging our zoning approval us selling our building? Why is the city solicitor, who's an employee of the city, and the city commissioner leading the charge to get us to sell our building? Why does the city want us to sell our building and help us move into a place they own to pay them rent? What plans for our building does the city have, and who have they made those plans with? Is it a coincidence that investors, one who clearly has a very negative view of our city, obtained my personal cell phone number and called me to try buying our building within a week or so of the city proposing its plan for us to sell? Now, we also have to ask ourselves how the actions of the city attorney and the city commissioner impact Abbott's upcoming appeal hearing. So the city solicitor, in these cases, makes a recommendation for the city commissioners on legal matters. And then the commissioners must decide amongst themselves how to move forward. In this situation, the city solicitor has consistently refused to recommend dismissing the appeal entirely, even though there is no legal basis to hear an appeal that was filed late. So in other words, the same city solicitor that came up with a plan to get us to sell our building and move us into a city-controlled property is the same person who recommends that a hearing must be held to determine if an appeal filed 10 days late was timely. Maybe it's just us, but this does not make a whole lot of sense. We still can't wrap our minds around the fact that a city commissioner and city solicitor worked to develop a plan to get us to sell our building because someone appealed our zoning. It seems like an overstep of their responsibilities and titles, especially because this communication came through cell phone conversations with nothing documented in writing. We're not sure what the city is trying to do here, but it seems very clear to us that there are people in City Hall that would rather us sell our building to a developer than allow us to operate our community center in the way in which it was approved by the zoning board and certified by the city. They know that we have to be represented by an attorney for any legal matters, and know that we will have to spend ridiculous amounts of money that should be designated for our community and Reese's house on this frivolous and unnecessary hearing. It almost seems like they want us to go bankrupt trying to pay legal fees, which would in theory force us to sell the building. So as you can see, it looks like the deck is stacked against us, and this is why we need your help. This is why it is so important for us to get involved and know what our elected officials are up to. So if you can, please consider making a donation to our legal defense fund. No amount is too small because our legal fees are piling up, and we have already spent close to $15,000 on this nonsense. If you haven't signed our petition telling our commissioners to cancel this hearing entirely, please do so. After you sign it, share it with your friends, your family, your coworkers, and your social media networks. Because if they decide to have this meeting and on August 22nd and move forward with this, we need you to join us at City Hall to remind their officials that they represent the public interest and not their own or the interests of developers. Nothing that we have accomplished so far is possible without people like you supporting along the way. Thank you for being a part of this fight and standing with us through thick and thin. We are strengthened and emboldened by your support and have zero intentions of selling Reese's house. We're in this fight together with our community. As always, it's peace and love from everyone here at Our Future First. I want you to take care, be well, remember to be kind to one another, share this video near and far, and let's let everybody know exactly what has been going on behind the scenes in regard to Reese's house and our city officials.